Has Chris Watts killed before? This is the question I found myself asking myself and researching the Watts case, especially after the video that we did on Cellmate Secrets and what is Shanann Watts hiding. I think that video hit home for millions of people. It seems like many that watched that video had the courage to write their stories in the comments. And I just want to pause for a second and say to everyone that had the courage to write in the comment section that you escaped a domestic violence relationship, I just want to stop for a moment and thank the Lord you are still here. That really touched my soul. As a woman, and this is not to bash men or anything, this has nothing to do with men. This is from a woman's point of view. I'm a woman, so I'm going to give you my point of view on the world. And for what I've learned in my years on this planet, is that at some point, even if you're a child, as a female, I think every woman has felt violated at one point or another. Whether it be a glance from someone, an inappropriate glance, or an inappropriate comment, or walking through a crowd of people and being groped. Anything that happens to us that we don't say yes to is a violation. So again, I ask, has Chris Watts killed before? Why would I ask that question? Well, I was reading the comments in that video, and someone said a very poignant thing. If you think this is Chris Watts' first rodeo with DV, because the end result of DV is death. So if you think that this is Chris Watts' first rodeo with domestic violence, then you must also think that a baby, when it comes out of the birth canal, comes out cursing, running, and smoking a J. And I thought that to be a great analogy. It was such a great analogy because domestic violence or any kind of bad behavior is not something that we just one day wake up with. Just like a drug addiction. It is a walk. We're either walking with a drug addiction, alcohol addiction, anger issues, psychotic issues that we're not having addressed. This runs the gamut. But with domestic violence, that is something that just doesn't happen. Those are learned behaviors. Basically, when we're grown-ups, we express what we've learned as children, correct? So maybe Chris Watts lived a long life of domestic violence, and who knows what happened in his childhood. We don't know. But it is a strange connection that his family kind of has. Their language of love, or however they communicate to each other, is off. And then we have Shanann's family, who is like Shanann and just, puts on this we're the perfect family, everyone bullies us, we never do anything wrong. And I just want to say to both families, I do not think that the Watts are all the way bad, and I do not think that the root checks are all the way good. I think that every single one of us walking the face of the earth have issues. We all have issues. That's why we need each other, to help each other. For someone who's gone before us and gone through things that we can relate to, and they've gotten out of it. But is there a chance that Chris Watts had killed before? I saw a lot of comments where people had, I guess, really broken down Shanann's and the girls' autopsy reports. And they said that autopsy, they didn't even note that Shanann had surgery on her neck, or metal bars in her neck, and all this weird stuff. So, how do we know that those are even the girls' bodies? I mean, with the information that the public was given, we have a lot of questions. And then someone, I guess, tried to comment in my comments, but, YouTube chooses which are appropriate and which are not, guys, so I'm just letting you know that. But someone did say something to the effect like Chris Watts was the one who was abused. And to that person, and to anyone who thinks like that, I really want to say to you, you should really go study a matter before you speak on it. Because there's millions of people that probably watch these videos and are reading your comments. And it's not making them feel any better about it, about their situation. That's why the type of domestic violence that we're speaking about is called the hidden, the secret killer, the hidden DV. They wouldn't be doing things in front of anyone. In front of everyone, they're the perfect guy. And then people shame the victim. They shame the victim. Victim bashing, victim shaming, which means you go against them just to be, who knows for what reason, monetary reasons, just to be an asshole. Maybe you're that person. Maybe you relate to Chris Watts. Is that what it is? I don't know what it is, but it's not right. Because those are bad behaviors. They're not good for the greater good. Broken people break people. Yeah, that's a true statement. So we have millions of people watching, reading, and listening to this video right now that are victims of domestic violence and don't even know it, or may not have even known it until this case. Maybe this case is what's shedding light on their situation. Maybe this case is what's going, that little ding, ding, ding is going off, the little red flag in their head, saying, wow, this is what my husband does to me, or, yeah, I really trust my husband with my life. Trust no one. Test every spirit to know that it is of God, to know that it is truth. Test it. The more I open the newspaper, well, it's not a newspaper anymore, but the more I scroll down the scroll hole, it's not funny at all, but most of the murder cases that have popped out to us and that we learn about are either parents killing their spouse and children, or children killing their parents, or people just going loco and killing everybody. This was not a thing 50 years ago. So we also have to ask ourselves, what about social engineering? We watch programming. When we're watching programming, television programming, our mind is in a very perfect state to be hypnotized. So our mind is in a hypnotic state already, and they're putting all of these symbols, sigils, and signs in their programming that our mind, since it's in a hypnotic state, isn't picking up on immediately. Or a lot of us anyway. I pick up on all that stuff. But for a lot of people who don't really question things, they may not pick up on the symbols and sigils and the deeper meaning of what's being programmed into our brains. But I find it another fascinating connection that Metallica played a part in not only the Watts murder case, but also the West Memphis 3 murder case. I'm sure there were other ones too. Comment below if you remember other high-profile true crime cases where Metallica played a role. That's either here nor there. For some reason, I get whole, vibes, like military ops vibes. There's a lot of people coming out now that say they were in programs as children. Their father, was in the military, and he signed them up for this secret program, and they were programmed to be super soldiers. So has Chris Watts killed before? Do they all go the long way back, the Rucheks and the Watts and Nicole Kessinger and her family? Is that why the Rucheks get mad if we talk about Nicole Kessinger? I mean, because that's what it seems like to me. That's my question to them if they watch my stuff, which they shouldn't be, in my opinion. But if they do, my question to you guys is, why do you get mad? You could simply ignore it. You know this is a high-profile case. You guys, if it bothers you that we talk about them, you should remove yourself, but you're not. You're in YouTube, and you support YouTube channels that talk about it. So you're saying one thing, but doing another. That's chaos. See, people don't understand. Anyone can do chaos magic. It's manipulation. It's real easy to do. And that's why we are fascinated with this case. Because Shanann could sell anything. Wasn't she a great salesperson? Wasn't that her gift, her God-given gift? And she had a way of being relatable, right? But at the same time, when you're selling things, you kind of have to have a little bit of actor in you, I guess is the word. And that's okay. There's a lot of people that are good at selling things, and I admire that. Purses that I could probably sell right now online, but it's just not my thing. I don't even know where to begin. But, you know, other people are amazing, and they could sell you the clothes off of your back, and that's what was said about Shanann. So is she selling us the perfect family? I think a lot of us think that. And then there were questions that were arising, asking if Shanann was hiding this, then that would be a perfect stomping ground for someone like Chris Watts. This is about the greater good and a lesson, a cautionary tale, not the Rucheks or anyone else, not even the Watts family. There are a lot of people coming in speaking for the Rucheks in my comments. You know, oh, stop talking about her. Her family doesn't want you to. This has nothing to do with her family. Her family shouldn't even be watching these videos. The videos that we make are questions that we have about a public case. And also, this is a topic I think that should be touched on. Because, obviously, there are millions and millions and millions, from the statistics that I read to you guys, millions of women right now watching this video and listening to my voice that are going through similar things that Shanann Watts went through. Such as mind manipulation. Mind manipulation is used in mind control tactics that the big guys use. You know, those evil scientists in their evil little cubicles doing evil little experiments on the human brain and how to control it and manipulate it. Well, that's what manipulation is. Manipulation leaves a person in a state of constant confusion. And we're not meant to be in a state of constant confusion. Constant confusion is of the devil. We are meant to be at peace at all times. So when you are married to someone and there is hidden domestic violence going on, it is hidden because the person is doing things that are not out there in the open. Purposefully, on purpose, hiding it. And the reason why I ask, has Chris Watts killed before, was because not only did we go over the deeper meaning of his tattoo, right? His obsession with Metallica, which is the tattoo that he got, which the meaning of their symbolism is what we're talking about. And Chris Watts, if he's a fan of Metallica and he has a photographic memory, would know these things. Not to mention if he's half Native Indian or Cherokee, as was his mistress, allegedly, from the research we've done. Check out our videos on American Horror Story. I'll link them in the comments. Then we find out, as I'm going through pictures, I'm looking at pictures of Shanann with this neck brace on, and I'm remembering Chris Watts saying how he handled all of her meds, how she said he handled all of her meds. He just strikes me when the more I was, when I was reading the comments, especially, and I'm seeing how so many people are having a reaction to our video, how insidious Chris Watts' behaviors are that we've noted him admitting to, from him admitting to drugging Shanann. He claimed he had drugged her in North Carolina, and he drugged her the night of the murder. How many other times did he drug her? And did he practice doing what he did? And if they're from some kind of ancient bloodline that actually does what his tattoo means, and if you want to find out the meaning of his tattoo, I will link the video in the description or in the comment section. Is that why he got the tattoo? Has this been a part of his secret other self? Because we know there's two Chris's, right? So is this part of the other Chris's life? Was he used to drugging and practicing smothering those precious babies? Question mark. Someone else noted in the comments how JonBenet Ramsey was found with a garrote around her neck, which is a device used to slowly choke a person. And usually it's used in sadistic sex magic rituals where they will choke the person or their victim until they pass out. But eventually they're not going to wake back up. So was Chris Watts smothering those girls for some time before he actually murdered them? And that's why they were both on nebulizer treatments. And when you hear Celeste running around in her videos, she's always wheezing? Question mark. There's many cases where doctors and nurses harmed their patients. So since Chris Watts already admitted to it, what is he hiding and taking to his grave? Leave your thoughts below.